I feel a great spirit of kinship with you all students because I feel your age, albeit on one leg. And I'm also working in a similar domain of sorts. The diaspora, I have had the privilege of serving two presidents. First of all, President Constantinescu, whom I thank for all I've learned from him and for his invitation today, and the current President, Klaus Johannes, on the same issue, which is sort of a loop back in time, with very different diaspora issues because of very different diaspora, Romanian diaspora. So I'd like to take from the bird's eye view that we had until now, to take a plunge into the trenches of how you might be in your work dealing with real issues. And I said that I feel a sense of kinship with you, not just because of the line of work, but also because I myself am a cultural diplomacy project incarnate of my two parents. I have three halves, I like to say. I'm of course Romanian, but I also am half American and half Swiss. And I studied something similar to yours, to your field. I studied at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Boston, where I learned public diplomacy is not propaganda. Then I studied at Columbia University, where I did my master on the open society, learning to distinguish open and closed societies. And finally, I did my PhD in Paris at Sciences Po. And I'm saying all of this to tell you that I'm going to say some very obvious truths, but they have come from both experience and some deep thought. So I was saying that I did my PhD in political science in Paris, asking whether culture matters in the emergence of civil society. And the answer, you guessed it, is a resounding yes. And why does culture matter in the emergence of civil society? To take just this example. Culture matters because, to take one author's view, culture is a toolbox. It's a toolbox for solving problems. Civil society is a tool, it's an institution that emerged to solve problems that European and American egalitarian cultures encountered. How to get things done when one individual is not too strong, but too weak to get things done by himself. Why is it that in feudal cultures, or in feudal societies, or in closed societies, you do not have civil society? Because hierarchies get things done by referring to your superior, who gives you protection and helps you get things done in exchange for your loyalty. So civil society appeared in democratic, egalitarian countries because of weakness, not of strength. It's a way to build strength of many to solve problems which one individual cannot solve alone. So I'm giving you this train of thought to help you see how exciting your professional world can be when you start playing real life games in your job, as I'm trying to do this now, but don't tell my boss, the president, that I'm actually thinking and enjoying too much what I'm doing. And I'll give you 3 observations from my own work to tell you of things that are very common sense, but which may be of help to you as you're trying in your own professional lives to solve problems. Because as my favorite author, Karl Popper, said, all of life is problem solving. So in whatever field of work you are, or in whatever personal or professional endeavor you are, it's about solving problems. And it's about asking the right question and finding the right problem, defining rightly the problem gives you already the solution, as I think Einstein or someone much smarter than me has said. First observation, as my friend Dan Petre said, we live in a Janus world. Every thing is two-faced. Reality is dual. So there's always a half-full side of the issue you're looking at, and the half empty. In our case, the Romanian diaspora, during President Constantinescu's time, the issue was very different because the diaspora was mostly exiles and people who had left for studies. Now we have a very numerous economic diaspora. We have 3.5 million Romanians abroad. The approach of the state so far, this big diaspora occurred with the Romania's entrance into the EU and with free movement of people. So the Romanian state so far, until President Iohannis recently, looked at this hemorrhage of talent with great despair, thinking, wow, what a loss. What a loss of potential, what a loss of intelligence, what a loss of abilities. And that's all true. It is a huge loss. But as I said, everything has two faces, two sides. And if you turn the issue on its head, every loss comes with its share of gain. There's always a silver lining in everything in our world. Every glass half full, half empty, has a half full part which you need to see. And so about the diaspora, it suffices to ask, what is the opportunity of having all these talented people abroad? And then you start building creative strategies for engaging these smart, capable, extraordinary, entrepreneurial individuals who took their lives into their own hands to get to be successful abroad. And you start building strategies to get them, to engage them from wherever they are to contribute to the Romanian state or to come back. You build strategies to make it easy for them to come back. So what I'm trying to exemplify is that a problem which can be seen as a loss can also be approached as a gain and be seen the potential into it. And it's a lot of fun, trust me, to try to look for the positive in every negative situation that you encounter. It's a game, and it's fun, so you should try it. The second observation is that we live in a world of plenty. I know it doesn't look that way when we see poverty and misery around. But I want you to consider the fact that in the information era, we have started to put all the laws of economics upside down and to think about the world in very different ways. And I'll give you an example of how you can see that technology values ubiquity and not scarcity. I'm seeing you look at the watch, and I'm going to be short. Consider fax machines. What use would be to be the only owner of a fax machine? There would be no use to you, right? So ubiquity and sharing and spreading wealth, to look for the win-win solutions, is what makes fun and what makes your approach, I'm going to skip, what makes your approach to solving problems interesting. So look for the win-win solutions in what you're doing. Look for the other person's interest in your interest of getting your job done. To take an example, we're working very closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We're looking to empower the ministry to create a platform to connect to Romanians abroad. So how do we get this done? Because we don't have, at the presidency, we don't have the funds. And the ministry's funds are allocated on specific projects. So we look who in the government has as mandate to get something useful done with technology. And we're approaching the Minister of Information Technology and suggest to him to reap the benefits in his own work of creating a platform for Romanians abroad. So always looking for win-win solutions in which you find other people's interest in your getting yours done. Last but not least, be careful of how your initial frame of mind is, of how you think of a problem. There's a proverb which I very much enjoy, which says, be careful of your thoughts, because thoughts become words. Words become actions, deeds. Deeds become habits. You know it. Habits become character, and character becomes destiny. And this reminds me of something I learned from President Constantinescu, that the crystal bears, the palimpsest, bears the structure ingrained in it, no matter how many layers of and how much time has passed. There's this kernel of the initial crystal that can be found in the final product. So always think about what the initial thought, yours or someone else's, is about an issue. And remember some very inspiring quote for me from Albert Einstein, who says that the most important decision you make in life is whether you live in a friendly or a hostile universe. Bear in mind that the answer to this question, and cultures refer to their outer world as a friendly or a hostile world, open society in a friendly way, closed societies in a hostile world way. But this initial thought is like a palimpsest, is like a crystallization that you have to unfold in order to try to get people to open up and to transform fear into friendliness, to move from fear and hostility to love and acceptance. Because the way you answer this question, whether you live in a friendly or a hostile world, will completely determine your institutions, will completely determine whether you live in a hierarchical world or in a friendly partnership world, And so you get to help people cross the bridge in order to get to trust, to cross the bridge from fear through friendliness by dialogue, as you said, by building trust-building measures, and by in various institutional setups. I'm going to stop here, but remember to always turn things upside down, turn things on their head to see another perspective. My grandmother was a painter, and she taught me that in order to see whether a painting or a picture is balanced and is good, you have to turn it upside down and look at it. And if it looks balanced upside down, it means that it is balanced. So turn your world upside down, turn the problems upside down. Think of creative ways to find other people's interest in your own and to solve problems together, finding win-win solutions, because the world is plentiful and you find win-win solutions for every issue you undertake. Thank you.